My name is Marin Elise Voss, 29 years old. The morning it began, I was pouring coffee into a mug I bought at a street market in Lisbon. Hand-painted, chipped at the rim, stubbornly mine, when Adrian leaned in the bathroom doorway and said, bright as an alarm I never set, "Babe, I need the apartment this weekend. Guys decompress retreat. No girlfriends allowed." Not asked, declared. We've been together 3 years. He moved into my place 18 months ago, after his landlord raised rent without warning. After I said yes to love and space and the soft domestication of toothbrushes side by side. We've never had an issue with his friends coming over. We've had FIFA nights and beer pyramids and that one ill-advised poker game that stained my rug. But this? That's pretty sudden, I said carefully. He rolled his eyes with a smile, the way people do when they've already decided for you. God, don't be clingy. It's just 2 nights. Crash at your brother's. You love Derek's dog. Why not Jess or Theo's place? Because I already told them here, he said, sauntering to kiss my cheek. Plus, your tub is elite. There was an off note in his voice, a line reading he'd practiced too many times. But after 3 years, you pick your battles. I picked up my bag and set down my suspicion. Okay, I said, have fun. He beamed. You're the best. We're doing wings, games, total detox. Friday at 5, he practically ushered me out, keys jangling like a bell for last call. I walked to Derek's, let his giant rescue mutt tackle me, and pretended my chest wasn't tight. We played co-op until our thumbs hurt, ordered pizza, and let a stand-up special fill the room with someone else's problems. At 11:07 p.m., my phone buzzed. Unknown. Can't wait for tomorrow night, babe. Got us that Malbec you love and the good candles. Romantic AF. I stared, thumb hovering over delete. Wrong number, obviously, when another came through. Unknown, you and that lingerie are going to kill me. Worth every penny. LOL. My blood turned to glass. A third text arrived, stumbling over itself. Unknown amphetamine expletives. Wrong person. This is Serena. Adrian gave me your number. For emergencies. Please don't say anything. This will cause drama. Serena Vale. Adrian's college best friend. The one he swore was gay. Practically a sister, eternally attached to a phantom girlfriend none of us had actually met. The one who came to our dinners and laughed at my stories and hugged me in the hallway with a squeeze that felt like gratitude. My hands were shaking. Derek muted the TV. You okay? He asked. I passed him the phone. His face hardened in a way I'd only seen once, when a stranger tried to grab my bag outside a bar and Derek moved like a storm I hadn't known he had. That mother, he stopped. What are you going to do? Storm the apartment? Drag them out by the truth? Part of me wanted to. A bigger part of me, the one that plans for a living, started assembling something cleaner. Not yet, I said. First, I'm going to document. I screenshotted everything and dropped it in a new folder. Cole Har Serena, evidence. Then I opened Instagram. Adrian's story was a parade of plausible deniability. Boys on a couch, controller shots, a mountain of wings. But in one photo, a boomerang cheers over my coffee table. There it was, a watch on the glass. Limited edition, green face, the one Serena bragged about last month, the one she said she'd waitlisted for a year. I zoomed in until the truth took up the entire screen. The rage stopped being hot. It went surgical. Update to self, Saturday, 8:12 a.m., make a plan, not a scene. Step 1, receipts. Serena's texts. Adrian's story. The reflection in the wine glass. Our shared inbox with a pizza receipt for 2 pies delivered to my address during a no-girlfriends guys weekend. Step 2, cross-check. I made a throwaway account and checked Serena's stories. She'd posted a chill night boomerang, my couch pillows right there like witnesses. She'd tagged our neighborhood. Step 3, locks. I called my landlord from Derek's kitchen. If someone isn't on the lease, I asked evenly, and doesn't receive mail here, can I change the locks? Yes, he said. You can change them anytime. They're legally a guest. Perfect. Adrian still had his mail going to his parents' place because, quote, tax benefits. The only official thing with my address was his gym membership. Great, I said. I'll cover the locksmith. I booked a Sunday 6:30 p.m. slot. Weekend rates, worth every dollar. Adrian texted at noon. Miss you. Guys say hi. I typed, miss you too. Have fun. Then turned my phone face down. Not to avoid the truth, to let it arrive. Saturday night, sleep was a room I didn't want, with a bed I didn't own. Serena texted again. Really sorry. We were drunk. Please, don't blow this up. I screenshotted that too. Consciousness of guilt in gray bubbles. Sunday, I camped at the cafe across from my building with a laptop I didn't open. I watched the front door and the sky's color and my own breath. At 5:18, Jess and Theo left laughing. At 6:02, a delivery guy climbed my stairs with 2 grocery bags and came down lighter. At 6:27, the locksmith arrived with a small black case and a neutral face. Deadbolt and handle, I said. Both, he nodded. 20 minutes later, the keys to my life matched its reality again. At 7:21, I opened the mutual friend group on Instagram, Adrian's Sunday Crew, the ones who post brunch stacks and justice memes. He'd once logged in on my iPad. The saved password was an invitation he didn't know he'd given me. I uploaded the screenshots in order. Serena's texts, the watch reflection, the wing mountain, the pizza receipt, Serena's boomerang on my couch. I captioned it like a report, not a scream. FYI, Adrian's Guys Decompress Retreat used my apartment, my tub, and his gay best friend. He told me no girlfriends allowed and sent me to my brother's. Serena's texts were meant for him. She sent them to me by mistake. Locks are changed. Adrian can pick up his things tomorrow with supervision. Thought you should know who you're brunching with. 3 dots exploded like fireworks. The typing became a chorus. I didn't read the replies. I looked up. At 8:43, they appeared. Adrian and Serena, walking toward my building like they owned the night. She wore the silk green dress I'd bought him for our anniversary dinner last year. On her body, it became an insult masquerading as irony. They were holding hands. Serena fished in her bag. Adrian tried his keys. Confusion. Jangle. Try again. Panic. My phone erupted. 15 calls in 30 seconds. I let it buzz until the sound became funny. Then I picked up my mug, crossed the street, and met them at the door with a stillness I had to build. Marin, Adrian said, relief and irritation clashing. My key isn't working. New locks, I said, installed an hour ago. Serena's smile flickered. We should talk inside, privately. I held up my phone and scrolled until her words shone between us. Can't wait for tomorrow night, babe. The lingerie. Wrong person. This is Serena. Her face blanched. Adrian looked from the screen to me like this was some elaborate prank. You absolute idiot, Serena hissed. Not at me. At him. At the mess. At the fact that it had reached open air. 3 years, Adrian, I said, voice flat as a ruler, and you needed my bathtub for a lie. It's not, we're just, he glanced at Serena as if she'd hand him a better script. Just friends, I asked. Is that what we're calling lingerie now? He reached for wounded. You don't understand. You're never emotionally present. Serena gets me. Great, I said. Then she can get you somewhere else. My apartment is closed. His phone chimed so hard he flinched. The group chat detonated into daylight. Garrett-style hero worship swapped for Serena receipts. Someone I barely knew posted, Serena isn't gay. I tried to set her up with my cousin. Another wrote, Bro, is that Marin's couch? The legend of their purity collapsed in time with the read receipts. You told them? Adrian scowled. They deserve to know, I said. Just like I did. He tried a new tone. Let's go inside and talk rationally. No, I said. Tomorrow. Noon. 1 hour. You can take what's boxed. Not 1 minute more. You can't do this. I live here. You crash here, I said, calm enough to be unkind. No lease, no mail, no claim. Serena swallowed, eyes flicking to the dark window that no longer belonged to her fantasy. Where are we supposed to go? I hear your identities are very emotionally available, I said. Try them. He reached for indignation again. Marin. I stepped back, hand on the new key that fit cleanly into the new lock. Oh, I said, almost lightly. And next time you stage a no-girlfriends weekend, check your reflections. Your watch was gorgeous in my wine glass. The bolt slid home with a sound I wanted to frame. Inside, the apartment smelled like lavender cleaner and lies that were already leaving. The throw blanket she favored was on my couch. I folded it, set it on a chair, and poured myself a whiskey I didn't need but wanted. My phone rattled with the world. Calls, messages, apologies, outrage. I turned it face down on the counter beside my Lisbon mug and stood in the quiet I'd just bought back. Outside, someone pounded on the door. Adrian's voice filtered thinly through wood. Marin, you can't do this. My life is in there. No, I thought, and took a sip. Your stuff is in here. Your life is out there, in the consequences you chose. The pounding continued for 10 minutes, then faltered, then stopped. A text from building management arrived. Noise complaint. I replied, ex-boyfriend locked out after cheating. Not on lease. Please call the police if it continues. Silence returned. Thinner, stronger, earned. Tomorrow would be tedious. But tonight the locks worked. And so did I. By morning, the adrenaline had worn off, leaving only the clean ache of clarity. The kind that hums under your skin, reminding you that peace doesn't always feel peaceful at first. I brewed coffee and stared at the apartment. Every detail screamed his existence. The cologne-soaked jacket on the chair, the shoes tossed by the door, the framed photo of us from last summer's road trip. His smile in that picture looked so genuine, I almost believed it again. Almost. By 9 a.m., the group chat, the Kings and Queens brunch crew, had turned into a digital crime scene. 74 unread messages. I didn't open them. Instead, I started packing. One box at a time. Clothes, tech. The controller he refused to let me touch during game nights. I labeled everything with a black Sharpie. Adrian, pickup pile. When Derek called to check in, I told him the truth. No, I'm not angry, I said, sealing a box with finality. I am organized. That afternoon, a message popped up from Serena. Different tone this time. Desperate, not defiant. Marin, please, you're destroying his life. It was a mistake. He doesn't deserve this kind of humiliation. I typed slowly. You destroyed his life the second you stepped into it wearing my robe. Then I blocked her. But I wasn't done yet. By evening, I sat at the same cafe across the street from my building, the one with perfect sightlines to the lobby. Laptop open, phone ready, calm enough to look unbothered. Inside, my stomach was wired to 1,000 volts. At 6:00 p.m. sharp, the locksmith texted a confirmation photo. New lock set installed, 2 silver keys resting on the mat. I pocketed one and smiled. Then I opened Instagram. Adrian's private account, the one we used to share with our mutual friends, was still logged in on my iPad. Saved password, saved arrogance. The Kings and Queens group story was quiet, waiting. I uploaded 4 slides. 1 screenshot 1. Serena's wrong person texts. 2. Screenshot 2. Adrian's Guys Night Detox story. Zoomed in on the reflection of Serena's emerald watch in the wine glass. 3. Screenshot 3. Serena's boomerang from my couch. 4. Screenshot 4. The pizza receipt from our shared email. Time-stamped during the supposed retreat. My caption was surgical, not spiteful. Hey friends, quick note before brunch. Guy's weekend wasn't so guy exclusive. Serena's texts were meant for him, but came to me. Both were in my apartment, without permission, while I was sent to my brother's for space. Locks are changed. Adrian can collect his things tomorrow with supervision. Consider this my public service announcement. Check your reflections before lying in public. I hit post. The typing indicators under the story exploded instantly, a constellation of dots flickering to life. I didn't read the responses. I just ordered another latte. An hour later, my phone lit up with unknown numbers. Friends, colleagues, even my landlord. I ignored them all, staring instead at the sidewalk outside my building. At 8:42, headlights cut through the dusk. Adrian's car pulled up. He stepped out in his nice jacket, the one he used for apology dinners. Serena trailed behind him, wearing a green dress that wasn't hers. The anniversary dress, the one I'd bought with money I didn't have because he said he loved me in that shade. They were holding hands. They reached the front door, confident, laughing, until the first key refused to turn. Then again, and again. Serena frowned, whispering something. Adrian tried another key, jamming it harder. Confusion turned to frustration, then panic. His phone vibrated. Mine buzzed a second later. Incoming calls 12, I let it ring. When I finally crossed the street, I didn't rush. The city hummed, calm and indifferent. Adrian spotted me first. Relief washed over his face like a bad actor hitting his cue. Marin, finally! What's going on? My key's not working. New locks, I said simply. Installed at 7. Serena's mouth tightened. You're being dramatic. I tilted my head. You think this is drama? Wait until you check Instagram. Adrian blinked. What did you do? I opened my phone and showed them the post. Serena's messages, the reflection, the receipts. Adrian went pale. Serena's face collapsed into something uglier than guilt, annoyance. "You absolute idiot," she hissed at him. "You told her about the apartment code." He started, but she cut him off. "You gave her proof, Adrian. You literally handed it to her." I stepped closer, my voice calm but razor sharp. 3 years, Adrian, and you turned my home into a set for your affair. "It's not like that," he said quickly. "You're never emotionally available, Marin. Serena she gets me." "She got you in my bed," I said flatly. "You'll have to find a new one now." He ran a hand through his hair, the practiced move that usually made me soften. It didn't work this time. "You can't just kick me out," he said. "I live here." "No," I said evenly. "You stay here. There's a difference. You're not on the lease, not on the bills, and the mail goes to your parents' house. Legally, you're a guest, and I'm revoking the invitation." Serena crossed her arms. "We just need to grab a few things." "You'll grab nothing until tomorrow. Noon, 1 hour. Supervised." She scoffed. "You can't dictate that." I smiled. "I already did." Adrian's phone buzzed. He looked down, confused. Then his eyes widened. "Oh my God." I didn't need to look to know. The group chat had detonated. Half his friends had already reacted to my post, tagging each other, screenshotting, spreading it like wildfire. He turned his screen toward Serena. Messages scrolled so fast they blurred. "Jess, are you kidding me?" Maya, "Serena isn't even gay?" Tara, "Wait, is that Marin's couch?" Nick, "Bro, you're trending in our own group chat." Serena grabbed the phone, reading faster than she could breathe. Her face went ghost white. "You told them," she whispered. "I told the truth," I said. "They just happened to be listening." Adrian stepped closer. "Marin, please, we can fix this." I stepped back. "No, you can fix yourself." He looked desperate now. "Where am I supposed to go?" "I'm sure Serena's got a couch, or maybe her girlfriend will take both of you in." Serena flinched. "That's not—" I raised a hand. "Don't bother. I don't need the details. You can save that speech for your apology tour." They just stood there, 2 people realizing the applause would never come. Then I twisted the knife, softly. "Oh, and Adrian," I said, "next time you post fake guys' night photos, check your reflections. Your lies are as clear as glass." And with that, I turned, unlocked my new door, and shut it behind me. Inside, silence felt different now. Not empty, earned. I poured myself a whiskey and let the noise from the hallway fade into distance. Outside, their muffled arguing rose and fell, a duet of blame. When it stopped, I got a text from my landlord. Mr. Cole and guest were escorted out by security. Door secured. I smiled. Then the group chat started buzzing again. "Jess, you did what we all wish we could." MIA. "Icon behavior." Nick, "Bro's been deleted IRL." I turned my phone face down and exhaled. For the first time in a long time, I felt completely alone and utterly free. Tomorrow there'd be fallout. But tonight I had new locks, a quiet apartment, and the sound of consequences settling exactly where they belonged. Monday morning came with sunlight that didn't belong to him anymore. It spilled through my window like a small miracle, unbothered, quiet, and mine. My phone, however, wasn't so peaceful. 183 notifications. The Kings and Queens chat had evolved overnight into a full-blown tribunal. By the time I opened it, the verdict was clear. Adrian and Serena's credibility had collapsed faster than their alibi. Screenshots flew like confetti. Messages of, "Can't believe this. She borrowed money under fake excuses. He used my Netflix." They weren't even defending each other anymore. It was every liar for themselves. At 4 p.m. sharp, the doorbell rang. Right on time, which was impressive considering how late they'd learned about punctuality. Through the peephole, Adrian, pale but defiant, flanked by his sister and 2 movers with a rented truck. "No, Serena, a small mercy." I took a slow breath, straightened my shoulders, and opened the door exactly halfway, just enough for the rules to fit through. "Everything's boxed," I said. "Living room only. You have 1 hour." His sister, Elise, offered a polite, brittle smile. "We just want to get his things and go." "Good," I said. "That's the plan." The movers nodded awkwardly, stepping past with dollies and tape. Adrian tried to follow, but stopped short when he saw what I'd done. 12 boxes stacked neatly in the center of the room, each labeled in thick black marker: clothes, tech, bathroom, books, and 1 final box, smaller, separate, labeled miscellaneous ego. He stared at it. "Really?" "You left a lot of yourself here," I said. "Seemed fair to keep it organized." Elise stifled a nervous laugh and busied herself directing the movers. Adrian lingered near the doorway, scanning the apartment like he was trying to memorize it. He'd probably tell people later that I'd changed everything, the layout, the lighting, the atmosphere, but the truth was simpler. I just removed the lies. 10 minutes in, he broke the silence. So that's it? 3 years and you don't even want to talk? About what? I asked. The affair you planned in my house, or the part where you called it a retreat? He sighed. Marin, I messed up. People make mistakes. No, I said, taping one of the lids shut. People forget anniversaries. People oversalt dinner. What you did had logistics. He flinched. Good. I loved you, he said softly, as if that word might still have currency. You loved what was convenient. I was just the address for your comfort. He ran a hand through his hair. Can we at least try therapy? Counseling? I read this book. I laughed. Of course you did. He frowned. What's that supposed to mean? You don't want reconciliation, I said. You want an audience for your redemption arc. He opened his mouth to protest, but Elise spoke first, voice low. She's right, Adrian. Let's just go. For a moment, I saw something flicker across his face. Not remorse exactly, but the realization that the performance was over. At 4:28, he made his last attempt. My watch, he said suddenly. The one my dad gave me. It's on the dresser. No, it's not. I swear it is. Then swear somewhere else, I said, stepping between him and the hallway. You don't get to wander through my bedroom like nostalgia's an invitation. He stared at me, caught between disbelief and a kind of dawning respect. You really mean it. I changed the locks, I said. Did you think that was metaphorical? The movers rolled out the last box. Elise followed, murmuring a quick, good luck, under her breath, though I wasn't sure who she meant it for. Adrian stayed behind a moment longer, his hand on the doorframe. I did love you, he said again, softer this time. It just wasn't enough. I know, I said. That's why it's over. And it was. He hesitated, waiting for the cinematic pause where I'd break, where love would outshine logic. But love had already packed its own box. Goodbye, Adrian, I said. He stepped back into the hall, and the door closed with a click that sounded like punctuation. After they left, I stood in the middle of my apartment, surrounded by air that finally felt breathable. The quiet wasn't haunting anymore. It was honest. I opened the balcony door and let the wind sweep through, carrying out the last traces of his cologne and her perfume. It smelled like rain and freedom. On the counter, my phone buzzed. A Venmo notification. Adrian Cole has requested $48 utilities your half. I actually laughed. Then I hit decline and blocked him again. That night, I got a message from Jess, one of the girls from our friend circle who'd stayed mostly neutral until now. He told Serena he was only with you until his business took off. She told me last night he promised her the same thing about someone else before you. He's a pattern, Marin, not a person. I stared at the message until the words blurred. Then I typed back. I know, but patterns are predictable. I'm done being predictable with him. When I finally went to bed, the apartment felt new in a way I hadn't expected, like every object had exhaled. The silence wasn't heavy anymore. It was mine. I slept better than I had in months. Tomorrow, I'd move his remaining box to the curb for pickup. Tomorrow, I'd rearrange the furniture. Tomorrow, I'd finally throw out the blanket Serena left behind. The one that still smelled faintly of her perfume, arrogant and floral, like denial in fabric form. But for tonight, I let the quiet hold me. The locks were new, the walls were clean, and I had nothing left to pack away. 3 weeks later, my apartment finally sounded like mine again. No second toothbrush in the holder. No sneakers by the door waiting to be tripped over. No ghost conversations echoing through the walls. It's funny how silence changes shape. At first, it's punishment. Then one day, it starts sounding like relief. By the 4th week, the fallout had turned into a rumor mill I didn't need to feed. Every person Adrian and Serena had lied to was now comparing timelines, screenshots, and inconsistencies. Serena had claimed to some that she'd fallen for Adrian after realizing she wasn't actually into women. To others, she swore she'd been manipulated by him. Both stories died the same way, in receipts. Turns out she already had a boyfriend in another city. He'd seen my post, messaged me privately, and thanked me for blowing the whole thing open. Apparently, Adrian wasn't her first experiment in deception, just her sloppiest. As for Adrian, he tried his own PR campaign. He made a vague Instagram post with a black square and white text overlay. Growth sometimes means losing everything. I'm learning. Please respect my privacy. The comment section didn't. One of his friends replied, Bro, maybe start by respecting your girlfriend's apartment. Another, You mean Marin's? I didn't comment. Didn't need to. He was burning his own reputation just fine. I spent that Sunday repainting the living room. The same pale sage color he once said looked too cold. As I rolled on the paint, each stroke felt like reclaiming territory he'd quietly colonized. Halfway through, my phone buzzed with a message from a mutual friend. Jess, you'll never believe this. Adrian's trying to tell people you outed Serena. Me. Outed her as what? Jess. Straight, apparently. I laughed. The real kind, not the brittle one that had lived in my throat since this started. It came out sharp and honest, like breaking glass in a good way. Me. If he wants to play the victim, let him. The receipts speak louder than either of us. Jess. They really do. He's losing followers by the hour. And he did. His social media presence, the same curated ego that used to dominate every conversation, was collapsing. He'd deleted comments, then disabled replies altogether. The silence he left behind was almost poetic. By week 5, Serena moved out of state. Adrian's sister, Elise, texted me once more, an apology I didn't expect. He's back at our parents' place. They found out everything. Thank you for keeping your cool. You could have ruined him worse, but you didn't. She was wrong, though. I hadn't spared him out of mercy. I'd spared myself the weight of vengeance. Because revenge keeps you tied to the thing you escaped. And I'd already changed the locks. A month later, my apartment didn't feel like a crime scene anymore. It felt like a studio for rebuilding. I swapped the couch for one I actually liked. Soft gray, not the stiff leather he'd insisted looked masculine. Replaced the bar cart with a bookshelf. Filled it with stories I didn't have to share. I even bought a new mug from that same street market in Lisbon, bright yellow this time, a promise to myself that I'd stop pouring warmth into the wrong people. When Derek came by to visit, he dropped a 6-pack on the counter and looked around. Place looks good, he said. You too. I finally stopped checking my door every time there's a knock, I said. He grinned. Told you new locks fix everything. I smiled. They help. Later that night, I was cleaning out old folders on my laptop when I found the one labeled Cole/Serena evidence. Screenshots, receipts, photos, all still there, untouched since the day I'd posted them. For a long minute, I hovered over the delete key. Then I renamed the folder, Boundaries. Not because I needed proof of what they did, but because I needed proof that I'd survived it without becoming like them. It's been 3 months now. I still get the occasional whisper through mutual friends, little updates from the ghost of our shared social circle. Adrian's apparently taking time to focus on self-discovery. Translation, unemployment, and regret. Serena's been quiet. Her Instagram's gone private. Her captions now full of healing quotes about owning your story. Funny how people love rewriting the parts where they were the villain. Me? I'm good. I stopped checking their names, stopped explaining my side, stopped justifying how calm I stayed, while the internet dissected our breakup like a spectator sport. I'm back to sleeping diagonally, drinking coffee from my yellow mug, and humming to the quiet. And sometimes, when the morning light hits the locks just right, I remember that they used to represent fear. Now they mean freedom. A week ago, an unknown number texted me. I know you hate me, but I wanted you to know Serena and I aren't together anymore. It meant nothing. I threw everything away for nothing. I stared at it for a full minute, then set my phone down. No anger, no closure speech drafted in my head. Just peace, the quiet kind that doesn't need an audience. He was wrong, of course. He hadn't thrown everything away for nothing. He threw it away for something. For the thrill, for the secret, for the ego that convinced him he could betray me in my own home and still come back to find the door unlocked. He learned otherwise. The locks still work, so do I.